Hey, it's Matthew here with Seaword. I hope you enjoyed the very competent heron patiently waiting for and catching its lunch. I watched that heron for 15 minutes and it probably caught 6 or 7 fish in that time. He's not going hungry. I wanted to talk a bit in this episode about planning trips. When you are a new boater or any even seasoned boater, you need to plan your trips. When you're on a tidal river in the sea, you've got the river currents, you've got tides and wind waves at the mouth of the river. And so you can't just say, oh, 2 Tuesdays from now at 9 a.m. we're getting up and we're going here. You have to look at the tides, the weather. You can make tentative plans, but then you have to look and figure out when you can actually leave. So I'll give you an example. When the tide goes out in this river, it can go down to 0 feet and lots of sand gets exposed. Sandbars are there. It may look like there's river there, but the water's 2 feet deep. So you need to really plan, and you need charts and you need apps to show you where you are and what the water depth is. And so we recently went upriver to New Westminster, and for that we needed to just basically time the best time for the tide, and when we got back what the conditions were for docking, because we'd noticed the day before seasoned boaters were having a hard time docking here. So I'm just going to break out the map here and show you a little bit about what it's going to take for us to get out into the Salish Sea for the first time. So here's the marine chart for the Fraser River Delta. So we are moored here. So for our trip out to the Salish Sea, we have to travel out, follow the buoys down to Steveston past Westham Island. Now, this is basically, when you're here, you will essentially feel like you're in open ocean, the open sea, but you are to stick within the buoys here because of the water depth here. The other issue is with the current of the river, and with an outgoing tide and with a northwest wind coming from this direction, you can get standing, very difficult waves to navigate in that area. I'm going to link a couple of videos from Hollowed Inlet in Florida, Miami, where similar conditions make it very difficult even for big powerful boats. So when we go, we want to time it so that we don't have northwest winds and we're navigating this area in an incoming tide. And for our first trip, that is very likely the best plan of action. So that's the gist of our plan to head out to the Salish Sea. So much different than when I was young. My dad had a fishing boat, 60-foot springbok with a 70-horse Johnson on it. And we would take that onto Waskesiu Lake, the Heart Lakes, and Crean Lake in central northern Saskatchewan. But the water doesn't move there. There's waves sometimes. But here, you got the river current, tides, big waves, barges, tugs, ships, 6,000 other boats. So you really have to be clever to have as much fun and to be as safe as possible. So I hope you enjoyed this edition, and we'll talk to you soon.